All right, really huge movie fanatics. We're trying to continue what kind of horror movies we can think of, and the Hellraiser was on the list. Just do the first one. I mean, just only the first one, really. So I'm not, I saw this back in the day. After the second one came out, there was a lot of. The second one came out pretty quickly, actually, after the first one, as far as I know.
Yeah, it was 87, 88.
Yeah, so after the second one came out, I still remember them posters in the video store walls of the second one, and I don't know, I was never a huge. I liked the second one when I was a kid more because it had more of like
For the record, I do too.
Okay, good, because it had more of the. I think what they realized, obviously, with the second one is that people liked the Cenobites and shit. Yeah, they liked that shit. The thing about the first one is they got this really great character who, like a Pinhead, I mean, it's not a great character, it's just a cool character. And like the Cenobites, who are like never really around, and I haven't even seen Hellraiser for quite a while, but I can remember, I can't remember much. Why don't you take off, and then maybe I'll remember some.
Well, I rewatched Hellraiser. I saw
okay.
it back, like probably 98, 99, and I hadn't seen it since. And when I saw it, I watched 1 through 4, sort of all back to back, over a couple of days. And I remember seeing the first one, and I thought it was okay. Oddly enough, my problem with it then is still my problem with it, and then I have a new problem.
Which
My problem with it then was it had this really awkward, like, weird romance, but sort of like what do you call it? Cheating? There's a proper word for it.
Adultery.
Yeah, they have like this weird adultery storyline where this is like completely not necessary, but there's a guy with no skin and stuff that they're trying to like put the skin back on him or something like that. It's not really made too terribly clear. And to be fair, I wasn't watching it that closely. I was also cooking, which
just recently or first?
Just recently.
Oh,
but
he's multitasker. He does
yeah,
all
pretty
kinds of
much.
Stuff. You'd think a movie fanatic, because when I watch a movie, it's like.
Well, if it's a movie that I've never seen before, yes. If it's a movie like I saw that and I seem to remember it fairly well, and then as I was rewatching it, I did remember it pretty well. But it has this weird like.
That's one thing I can just remember the vague overall feel of it. It's just like just a woman, like this woman wanting a guy and not wanting him at the same time, kind of weird thing.
Yeah.
It's like pleasure and pain and.
It's just kind of weird. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the movie. And then you have this, like I'm used to the Nightmare on Elm Street style where you, or basically any horror movie style where you follow young teenagers kind of thing. And there's a pretty young teenager in the movie and her boyfriend. And I kind of like her. She's actually really good.
Who? Ashley Lawrence?
Yeah, Ashley Lawrence.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about her.
who continues throughout various entries in the franchise. But I don't know. That's my problem. It gets kind of boring whenever it follows this weird romance between these two adults. And then my other problem was, man, it's dated. Like the special effects are dated, but not in a good way. It's sort of like when I was young and I watched the movie Ghoulies or something like that. I was like, wow, that's state of the art. And I watch Ghoulies now and I'm like, wow, that's a puppet. And it's not like. I have a suspension of disbelief that I can give, like I watch Return of the Jedi and I'd much prefer the puppet Jabba the Hutt to the digital shit that we see in the prequels or the reboot, or redos that Lucas puts out there. But the puppets in this movie...
what puppets? What the hell are you talking about?
Like, when the house like starts coming alive at the end of the movie, you see all these weird-ass things that are coming, and it's just so fake. I mean, it's like Evil Dead 2 fake, but Evil Dead 2 was kind of supposed to be satirical and funny. And they both came out the same year. Wouldn't surprise me if the same people worked on them.
Probably.
Because they look shockingly similar to like the tree face that comes in from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just look so like obviously rod puppet kind of thing, and it's so fake that it's not scary. It's kind of laughable, but it's trying so hard to be scary. And it just sort of falls flat. The thing that it does have is Pinhead and his minions, the Chatterbox or whatever.
Or chatter teeth, yeah.
Yeah, and then the girl that has her scalp exposed, who is on the cover of the second one, even though she's not really in that movie all that much.
I
Really.
remember.
as far as I remember anyway. So yeah, I mean that's my new problem with the movie. I mean,
what's the new problem?
It's aged so poorly.
Oh, okay.
So poorly. And it's one where it's like it almost would be benefited a remake if they had keep the story, keep the maybe update the script a little bit and make it less boring with that adultery storyline. But like I don't necessarily even go digital with the rod puppets. You could just make rod puppets better and hide the fact that they're puppets.
Just hide the rods.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they just look so like unmoving and stuff like that. And
so now, is Hellraiser Ashley Laurence living in the movie, and then some blood drop on the ground, and this brings this guy back to life? Is that Hellraiser?
Yeah.
Because it's coming back to me now.
Right? Yeah.
And well, how do we find out his past? Is that flashbacks? Stuff with, I remember some woman that he was screwing. Is that present or past?
Yeah, it's present.
In the house or
in
where?
the house, yeah.
So Ashley, is that Ashley's house? Whose house?
Yeah, I think they're moving into that house, is what it is.
So the woman hasn't moved out or what?
I think they're both there.
They're both there?
Yeah. I don't know.
All
It's not really...
I can remember the guy with no skin. He's wearing a suit coat. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And he's trying to. Does a woman have to kill people? She's
Yeah.
got to kill people so he can
get
completely
his skin.
grow
Yeah.
back to being what he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can remember that now.
Isn't it just a weird, like, in not a good way, it's a weird and off-putting storyline. Like, it's not really all that interesting, it's not all that necessary, because it has virtually nothing to do with the Pinhead stuff.
Yeah.
Other than, like, he's the one claiming souls and the minion of hell and all that stuff.
One thing I can remember liking is I like the actor, whoever played that guy, you know, that other guy. Wasn't he in
sort of husband
Dirty
or whatever.
Harry?
Yeah.
Was that guy?
Yeah.
I like that guy.
I do too.
He was, you know, and is he the one who got torn apart at the end?
I believe so, yes.
Jesus wept. And it's like, right before he gets ripped apart. So I like that guy. I can't remember his name, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give the movie 2.5. I mean, it's a fine movie. It's okay. It could be effective. It's atmospheric, and the stuff when like is actually quite creepy when like Pinhead is on the screen and he's talking.
Well,
voice.
Doug Bradley, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's great in
Yeah.
second one. I suppose I'll go 2.5 as well, because as much as that whole idea of having someone back and killing people I mean, that's cool, but it is disjointed. It's like you're showing at the beginning the cool Cenobite imagery, I think, and then that goes away until almost like the end of the movie again, and it's just like, I want to see.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what you wait for.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, teenager, I just pretty much watched the end.
Yeah, I mean that's the best stuff, and that's what the whole second movie was about. And the second movie, I think, is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, they're sort of like the predecessors of Saw, in that they're like kind of weird torture porn.
Yeah.
And that they are really quite gross all the way through. The man without his skin, and the woman with the revealing scalp, and the guy whose lips are pulled back so much that you see his teeth just. I mean, it's all kind of quite gross.
Yeah, but I thought it was gross in a good way, because they're characters, they're superheroes, they're whatever you call it, anti-heroes or whatever. They're the bad guys. Instead of just seeing like victims getting torn apart, that's the difference for me. Is like they're the characters, they're the bad guys, the heroes, the bad heroes, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I should really, because I don't have it on DVD or nothing. That's how long it's been since
I think they have the first two, or maybe the first three, all in one.
Yeah, I should probably, because
the third one I actually kind of liked.
That's
the
one.
I haven't seen it since the 90s, but
that's the one I've probably seen the most. I saw it in the theater, I think, twice, and I watched it a lot after it came out on video.
Didn't
and
it have Mark Wahlberg in it?
Like
in the opening scene.
I can't remember. I haven't seen it for a while.
I think he's like, you follow him in the beginning of the movie. And then the fourth one just got weird and in space.
3 is the last one that I think is anything, and then of course I can't. I haven't seen anything after 4, but I can only assume.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything after 4 either. You know what? I'm going to watch all of these movies.
Are you?
No.
Probably not. A joke.
No, I'm tempted. They are on Netflix, all free streaming if you have Netflix, and it's tempting. But at the same time, that's a waste of a lot of hours.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You could be doing this.
Yeah.
Which is a complete,
Yes.
This is not a waste of time.
No,
this is important. So what do you think?
That's it.
Let's end it and say, what's
To
that?
hell with it,
To hell with it, hasta la vista, hell, yeah, to hell with it. Thanks for watching.